All right, what is going on, everybody? So, as you may have seen before, I actually casted the first two games of a best of five show match between White Wolf Palace and GamerLegion in live on Twitch, and I also uploaded that to YouTube. But I had to cut it short because I had to leave for an interview with the H1 4 developers that you should be able to see on YouTube in the upcoming days. So, because of that, I am casting the remaining games from recorded games. The way that this will be uploaded to YouTube is that you had the first two games, and then I will upload everything game by game, because right now there's a 2-0 scoreline for GamerLegion, and we do not know if game number 3 is going to be the last one. If GamerLegion wins this, then it is very possible that, if they win this, it is not just possible, it is likely that the series is over. So it would feel awkward if I would just upload a 30 minutes video saying second part of the show match. Instead, what I decided upon is to do it, we can actually start the game because it's still Dark Age. So what we can actually do instead is that I will upload the remaining games game by game. So this will be game number 3, and I will upload game number 4, game number 5 as separate videos as well. This way, the length of this specific video won't spoil you about how many games we have left in this set. I think that's the most reasonable way of doing things. With that, let's take a look at the two teams. These two teams have been the lineup for basically most of the game. Yo is going for some super early lumber camps. This is going to be a very fast dock over here from the pocket. So Mr. Yo will be playing Lithuanian pocket in green. We will have Lix as blue Hun's flank, and the other flank is going to be Japanese for VV in teal. Other side will have TaToH as Incas flanking, rather interestingly. Lithuanians for Viper in yellow as well, and DauT is going to be playing Japanese flank. So we have a Japanese versus Hun's left side, we have an Incas versus Japanese right side, and we have double Lithuanian pockets. Obviously, the presence of the relics in the middle, or 7 relics being in the middle, makes Lithuanians a very, very nice and confident civilization on this map. It's fairly easy to pick up relics for your knights. Also, the ability to drop a dock faster is extremely important here. You see that you already have Viper dropping the dock for himself, and the same thing is going to happen for Mr. Yo with this villager, I believe. So Kawasan in a 3v3 setup does have 6 pawns. Basically, every player has 1 pawn, so to say, but in reality, there are safe pawns, ones that are in between teammates, like this one, and there are contested pawns, so those that are in between enemies. In a 3v3 setup, you have 2 pawns that are contested and 4 pawns that are safe. So VV is looking around his base here, trying to push some deer. TaToH coming in with the ego to do some harassment and potentially delay that deer push. And on the other side, Viper comes in with a quick wall to prevent that villager from being picked off by the scout of Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo also lost 4 HP on that scout because Viper's scout was attacking downhills, so Yo cannot take this fight just yet. So as things stand, Viper is going to go for the safe pawn here in the pocket. We will have a safe pawn as well for TaToH, and I think, considering DauT is playing Japanese, he could very well go for this pawn, because even if he gets pushed on water, he's got the survivability of the Japanese fishing ships for himself. Now, Lix is only free on wood, and it doesn't seem like he's actually going for water, so it is very possible that we'll just see a super aggressive fast feudal from him, with the deer push and potentially scouts. VV is going to be playing with a safe pawn here, and a safe pawn will be there as well for Mr. Yo. But the real beneficiary of this one, I believe, that is most likely from the previous game. Capture Age does have some issues, so don't actually attribute anything to this one, the GGs whatsoever, because Capture Age has the tendency to, well, it's more like a bug, that it sometimes displays random messages from previous games as well. Sometimes even the lobby itself. So sometimes you can see the map selection in the lobby. So just ignore that. So as I said, it looks like, oh, that is what Lix is actually going for. And this is why he only kept 3 villagers on wood. He doesn't need that much wood income to make sure that he's able to drop a dock if he is going for a later dock. Obviously, with free on wood, he wouldn't have been able to afford a dock early, but instead he's gonna go for a more aggressive dock here. Something that Viper does not see, and it is very unlikely that he will spot this. He's missing this just by a single tile. So the real beneficiary of Lix not going for a water over here is DauT, I believe, because DauT is going to have an untouched fishing eco, and with Japanese, he could very well open man-at-arms. Same is the case for the Fire Dragon, who is going for some walls on the right side. Many of his minerals are here on the far right of his base, which definitely hurts him overall. And oh, that is a mistake though from Lix. Doesn't he know that Viper, like, there's a chance that he doesn't know Viper is here. No, he does. This is very risky for Lix, because this fishing ship could easily reveal his position. Especially when these deep fish run out, Viper is gonna start moving this way. I feel like this is a double-edged sword for Lix. I understand the concept of adding a fishing ship here, because it will boost his eco, and that's something that he really needs. Even if it's just one fishing ship, it definitely helps. Viper, by the way, missing out on 2 pigs here. The bigger problem is that this could reveal the entire plan of pushing the pocket player's fishing eco. Still, as I said, I like the idea that you're actually trying to push the pocket's fishing eco, and this way Yo is gonna have an untouched fish boom. Maybe TaToH is thinking about the same thing, but I like this team wall from Vivi. This is a very, very good team wall, even though there is some miscommunication between Yo and Vivi. So Vivi is trying to wall off the entire pond, whereas Yo just finishes off the walls here. So technically there is still an entrance here. It would have been better if Yo was like this, but obviously they didn't see what they are doing or what the teammate is doing. And oh, TaToH, that is an Inca Whale Rush coming in here. One of the reasons why Inca Whale Rush can be slightly stronger than normal in this map is because you have fishing eco helping you out, so your eco is not as weak as it would be for, let's say, Arabia, if you just do an Inca Whale Rush. It looks like we'll have one scout trade off against another scout, but Vivi's walls are not up yet, and here's the deal. As I said, Vivi's golds are on the far right. That's not something that he has a convenient hold of, and we will have a tower war coming in here. This is a nice tower, I believe, from Vivi, because it should be within the range of the TC, although it's pretty close. So there's a chance that TaToH can rush this tower down without the town center being able to intervene. So we will have the fire galleys coming in here from Lix, which means that Viper is gonna have to go for his own fire galleys. He's only one dog though, so he's almost guaranteed to be losing most of his fishing eco. I love the galley addition here from DauT though. Lix is trying to disrupt the fishing eco of his, and once again, the grand plan of WWP is that Lix is playing a very disruptive game, just making sure that Viper, DauT both lose their fishing eco, and there is the villager coming forward to push TaToH's fishing eco, who also missed out on 2 of his pigs. So it appears that GamerLegion has had a very underwhelming Dark Age scouting here. Viper actually sees those now, but he's not picking those up, and TaToH is unaware of his picks here. Still, he's actually going to be able to get through these gates, even though he could have just walked around, and we'll have Viper coming in here with scouts as well. Still, ecos are dead even. We have man-at-arms coming in here from DauT though, and that is something to point out as well, because Lix is very, very busy fighting on water on this pond, and soon on this pond as well. This dock from Lix will go unseen by TaToH as well, so there's a chance that 2 of the GamerLegion players will lose their fishing eco here, and obviously that is not great. Man-at-arms from DauT might find a villager from Lix here, because Lix is not really looking, and Japanese man-at-arms attacking faster, that should be one will dead. And now Lix will start adding archers in here. So Lix doesn't really have a great food eco. In fact, Lix is at 23 villagers, and that is a massive, massive concern. So if you take a look at the TC idle times, Lix had 2 minutes 17 seconds. He's pretty much all in on the fire galleys and the archer production. And now TaToH will see the dock, so he should be adding at least a fire galley. He could afford some more, and Viper should also be adding a fire galley here to clean that one up. We will have a galley out here. That's a nice decision from Vivi, trying to stop the tower. Same thing from our green player Yo. But here's the fun part. We'll have a fire galley from TaToH, even more interestingly, a transport ship. It's a triple layer wall he's up against, but guess what? A transport ship is able to transport you around, and you could hit the pocket directly. It looks like TaToH was so busy with that tower rush that he didn't actually see this dog, and only when the first Fargali pops out and starts pushing his fishing eco is when he realizes that he's in trouble. So, as things stand, the main reason why the overall ecos are actually better for GamerLegion is because DauT is having a crazy fish boom here that's completely untouched, and in the meanwhile, Lix is at 25 villagers, which is not so great. Here comes TaToH with the transport ship, but that transport is just slowly going down. Right now, it's just trying to block the fire galleys from accessing this other fire galley, but, well, that's definitely not the way that TaToH imagined that fire galley play over there. Still, there is some archers coming in here from DauT on the other side, so this will force Lix to defend. DauT has fletching, whereas Lix does not, but if Lix isn't paying attention, he could get his archers picked off by men-at-arms. GL.TaToH is in for Yo, and he starts to go for knights. Viper just now clicks up into GL.TaToH, and here's the deal. As we have TaToH mixing in some spearmen so he can actually fight off the early knights of his opponent. If you can secure the advantage in like early to mid GL.TaToH and secure the middle, you will be able to pick up 5 relics with Lithuanians without any problems, and that should be enough to snowball the game here. I also love the way that Lix is using his fire galleys, destroying the walls of Viper, which will leave an opening here, allowing his teammate to run in. Lix, his eco is awful, but he has definitely done quite a lot of disruption. The problem is that this is not enough disruption to compensate for his lack of economy. So, yes, he killed the fishing eco of Viper. Yes, he killed the fishing eco of TaToH, but TaToH is still at 36 villagers. Viper is at 34, whereas Lix is still 27. So, Yo needs to snowball this game really well in order to have any shot at this. Otherwise, the overall eco of GamerLegion will just snowball things. I love this tower from DauT though. Drops a tower on the gold mine of Lix, and since Lix doesn't really have a big army, this will definitely catch him off guard for a moment, and it will make it harder for him to replenish those fire galleys. It looks like TaToH's forward over here is not really getting anywhere as things stand. Nice defense from Vivi, who is playing almost exclusively water right now, trying to secure this pond here on the far right, which TaToH already has a couple of fire galleys on. Coming in is GL.TaToH for a purple player as well. He's going to be the 3rd player into GL.TaToH, and this is where things could get better for GamerLegion because they'll have 2 players in GL.TaToH as opposed to just 1. Yo is coming in here with the Knights, Viper with the Quick Walls. He's up to GL.TaToH just in time so he can start with a Monastery. With Lithuanians, that's not a big deal at all because you will have a nice defense against the Knights and you will also have the ability to pick up relics. We already have relics being brought in here by Mr. Yo, nicely done as well, but Viper still has some leftover scouts, and the best way to use them would be to deny relics with those. Right now, Yo's Knights have +1 defense and the Bloodlines, but that is all. And as things stand, what Viper needs to do is deny relics from his opponent. I guess that is the grand idea here. DauT, what is DauT up to? DauT is up to a huge amount of archers though. So that is where things could get really rough for WWP, because they have just 1 player in GL.TaToH. Vivi is just now going up, and here are the scouts indeed. We do have at least 1 relic picked up, I believe, by Mr. Yo, but for now Viper is going to be able to deny those relics, which is extremely important. He's not paying attention to this Palisade wall though, and that would mean that Knights will run into his wood line, trying to wall this one out as much as possible, but he has to do an evacuation. Monk comes in here for him, and the Monk is gonna get no conversion. Very lucky, or very unlucky over there, depending on who you are. In this game, Knights are coming out here from Yo as well, and it looks like TaToH's Voyager Rush will also be destined to fall, which means that TaToH's eco is going to be comparable to Lix's eco. Still, we have a forward university here from DauT with a sneaky villager. As the crossbows now break into Lix's base, Lix has to make another defensive tower, otherwise these crossbows will just camp beneath this tower, but I'm not even sure if that tower goes up for Lix, and indeed, Lix will be forced off from gold completely. Obviously a massive disaster. With the archer range wall he comes, but still there is an opening there, and his only real luck is that DauT doesn't have ballistics just yet. It's coming in for DauT, but this will save quite a lot of villager lives here for Lix. It looks like TaToH is not giving up on fighting the water, making sure that Yo doesn't have a good fishing eco. Yo actually wants to set up fishing eco in between him and Lix on this pond. We will have another Monk coming in here for Yo. Knight is also trying to help out, but the scouts once again yoink this. Very well executed here by Viper, who is booming on 3 town centers, by the way, so he's not putting that much effort into the relics. It's more about the eco-heavy approach. Right now, Yo is on only 1 relic, but I would assume that Viper starts moving out for relics pretty soon as well. Crossbows from GL.TaToH could be heading towards Yo now, and the thing is that even though Yo and Vivi have a very nice team war together, the back of Yo's base is very open to crossbows coming from the direction of Lix. Lix is at 31 eco. Both Lix and TaToH will be having a very long feudal age over here. You see that the crossbows from Vivi came in and picked off a couple of villagers from TaToH, so TaToH lost 12 villagers overall in this game if you include fishing ships, and now the crossbows will be hitting the back of Viper's base, and similarly to Mr. Yo, Viper could also lose quite a lot of villagers to this one. The difference is that Vivi doesn't have ballistics, which could mean that Viper has an easier time running away from the crossbows as compared to Mr. Yo, who loses 2 villagers immediately. And also Viper has a house here, so I'm fairly certain he has spotted these crossbows coming in, and he could send a couple of knights to clean this one up. Basically every player missed out on some of the pigs, I'm just noticing, like, this is something that Lix didn't pick up, this is something that Vivi didn't pick, or Yo didn't pick up. Almost every player missed out on some of those pigs. Still, there is quite a lot of crossbow pressure from Vivi in the face of TaToH, and it looks like Viper didn't notice those crossbows sneaking to the back of his base, because he definitely feels caught off guard by those crossbows. Should have no trouble cleaning this one up, but this will delay TC number 4 for him. The real person to look at, though, is GL.TaToH. Because GL.TaToH behind this one is having a crazy boom, 65 eco, tied for basically the best one with Mr. Yo, but Japanese fish boom, pretty much untouched for him, and he's gonna be playing on 4 TCs. 4 TCs is gonna be the name of the game as well for Viper, who is bringing in relics right now. Relic number 1 and 2 will be in a moment, and Yo is trying to yoink some relics for himself as well. Yo is sitting on 2 relics as well, so we have 7 relics in the middle. So one player is gonna have 4, the other one is gonna have 3. The real question is who's gonna have how much. Viper brings in the Monk for relic number 3. And Yo is bringing in the Monk for relic number 4. The other relic, where is it at? It's over here. So this should be 4 for Viper and 3 for Mr. Yo. We got Viper with only +1 defense on those knights, but really, GL.TaToH's crossbow numbers are what are getting scary, and since he's only going crossbows, but he still has a very good fishing eco, it means that his Imperial Age is going to be a fairly good and fairly fast. Because that's basically the case when it comes to these hybrid maps. If you go for mass archers, but you have a strong fishing eco to back it up, and you're not really spending that food in Castle Age, you will have a very good imp. Meanwhile, we have Japanese cav archers here from Vivi. Talk about surprises, that's not something that I expected, neither does Viper, because he's going to lose 3 monks over here, trying to get some conversions, but obviously he knows he can't run away. Japanese cav archers are actually very decent. I'm not going to say that they are as good as Hunnic cav archers, as 1 crossbow is harassing TaToH's wood line here. TaToH coming in here, trying to lame the gold mines away from the pocket player, and plays with pretty much exclusively spearmen to try and slow down Mr. Yo. GL.TaToH pushing the left side of Lix. I guess the original plan was that Lix goes for cav archers later, as TaToH sends a couple of whales to kill this crossbowman, and he will be successful doing so. Vivi is securing the right-hand side pond here. GamerLegion still has a massive eco lead, but most of that comes from villagers, and most of that comes from this, that Lix is still 32 eco. TaToH is about to click up into Castle Age. Still, Japanese cav archers are very underrated. I am not sure if they have party and tactics, but they're actually fairly well upgraded. So they do have bloodlines available, they do have husbandry available, but we have Imperial Age coming in here for Mr. Yo. It will be the same as well for Viper. Viper is sitting on 4 relics, we'll have 3 for Mr. Yo. Forward Siege Workshop coming in from Lix. Response will be a defensive castle by GL.TaToH close to his base, so that should negate all potential siege aggression. Viper now coming in with the knights, has a +2 defense as well. Attack upgrade wise, he only has forging, as Imperial Age is on the way now for him. Crossbows still pushing up here for DauT, 32 crossbows on the field, but there is 24 Cav Archers for Vivi, even though now they have good upgrades. This is actually a winnable fight for Yo and Vivi, even though it's only 2 relics right now in for Yo. What happened to the final one? Don't tell me Viper took the final one as well. There is 1 relic that is missing, and that is a big difference between the 2 players. Only 6 knights as well for Yo. 6 knights with +3, +2, as opposed to 13 knights with +5, +2, and those will soon be +6, +2. Overall, castles are up, and it looks like we'll have a Hub and Siege approach here from DauT. Right side, it looks like Vivi is beating TaToH. That is definitely helping WWP. The problem for them is that I feel like the left side is looking really rough for them, although Vivi is imping as well, so is DauT. So, as things stand, TaToH and Lix will pretty much be dead players, because their eco is like 43 and 51, and both of them are in Castle Age with no hope of going into Imperial, and Vivi is gonna come in with a castle drop to limit TaToH's movement to the corner. This is important as well. Securing the corner for future trade is gonna be important, and the other important thing is that Lix is going to be on free TCs, as those knights from Mr. Yo will just jump on the pikeman of TaToH and absolutely annihilate it. 1 conversion comes in here for Viper, but he's going to lose the Monk in exchange. So we'll have Stonewalls coming in, and it looks like GamerLegion is preparing for a long game here, but if they Stonewall like this, they won't really have trade going, because guess what? Vivi is going to secure this corner, so they'll have to trade from this corner to this corner here. With that being said, we will have Cavalier coming in here for both players from the pockets, but slightly faster for Mr. Yo, and that is going to be a bit of a concern for Viper, although Yo lost most of his numbers before he could actually take a good engagement here. TaToH was actually successful laming some of the stone mines over here, but more importantly, DauT comes in here with the Japanese pikemen. They don't really have super amazing upgrades, but they're Japanese pikemen with +1, +2, so even though they're not amazing against Cavalier, they will perform fairly decently. Good enough to force away Mr. Yo from this gold mine, and Mr. Yo really has gold control issues, because this gold is gone for him, this gold is gone, and guess what, he's out. So Yo has 4 villagers right now on gold, and he's gonna be up against soon Japanese halberdiers. Vivi could send help with Cav Archers, he's got 25, and I would think that Bracer Chemistry and Heavy CA will be coming in soon for him. But behind this one, I think Viper might be preparing for the Paladin. Indeed, here comes a Paladin, and despite the fact that Vivi is doing an excellent job dealing with TaToH here on the right side, I think that neither TaToH nor Lix will be influencing the game in the next 2, 3, 4 minutes. But the difference is that GamerLegion, the 2 remaining players, so DauT and Viper, are in a much better position compared to Yo and Vivi. So even though both teams have 1 player that is pretty much just the punching bag right now, and unable to really contribute in terms of military, the thing is that Viper, DauT, and TaToH are in a much better position in terms of map control. Yo is struggling for gold quite heavily, as we now have monks coming in here for TaToH, potentially to just heal his teammates' army, to be honest. Maybe even convert some siege weapons. Also, look at this teamwork from GamerLegion. Viper sends a trap here to take down the castle. The trap actually takes some hits on it, and TaToH is going to send villagers to repair that. Vivi is repairing the castle, but only with 5 vills, so I'm not sure how long he can keep that one up. And simultaneously, DauT is going to castle drop his player, 58 villagers right now for Lix, but that will soon drop with halberdiers overrunning the base. More importantly, as I said, Viper is gonna have fully maxed out Paladin in the moment. Those are +8, +4, and Paladins in 15 seconds, and that could be the end of this game, to be honest, if that is Paladins. Surprisingly, DauT didn't go for Arbalest. I think when you have 18 crossbows on the field, you could have gone for Arbalest. It looks like TaToH is not really caring about his monks being picked off, but right now it's all about Viper getting Paladin, and immediately when Paladin kicks in, Yo calls the GG. They know exactly that. They won't be stopping fully maxed out Lithuanian Paladins, because even though Yo himself has 2 relics, 2 relics is just +2, whereas 4 relics, and I think Viper might have a 5th one as well, indeed, is +4 overall. and that means that GamerLegion takes Kawasan as well in... By the way, look at this from Viper as well. Probably this was something that contributed as well to the defeat or the resign of White Wolf Palace here. Viper sent in a couple paladins to the right side, cleaned up all the villagers, which allowed him to take this castle down with the Treb. On the left side, we have a sneaky barracks coming up here for GL.TaToH. He already has a castle almost finished in the face of his opponent. GL.TaToH was just going for Bracer, so he could have actually switched back to Arbalest. It looks like he just wanted to go for full hub because they knew exactly that Lix isn't a factor for now. So if they go for a halberdier heavy approach, especially with Japanese that have amazing halberdiers, they will have an edge over the cavalry of Mr. Yo, and also it makes it much harder for Vivi to micro his units as well, because if he looks away for a second, half of his cav archers will just die to the halberdiers. And with that, GamerLegion wins this show match 3-0 in what is a somewhat shocking scoreline, because GL is looking really strong as a team. So this WWP team is not weak, but GamerLegion looking really sharp. Once again, this show match was played on two pools maps technically, although Kawasan is nothing special for two pools. It's the same script that was used in other home maps or other tournaments. So this was a $1,500 show match, which GamerLegion has won, sponsored by WWP's sponsor, and they decided to play on two pools maps. However, we haven't seen the specialized two pools maps, and that's my biggest sadness about this one, to be honest. They had some other show matches like Suomi versus WWP, I think Vietnam versus WWP as well, in two pools maps, but every time we see this, we see Kawasan, we see Hideout, we see Team Islands, and those are standard map scripts. In comparison to, let's say, Forest Pond, I would love to see a 3v3 Forest Pond. That would be so cool. But maybe next time. So with that, this is the end of this show match over here. So thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'm gonna see you next time, which will be the two pools deciders.